Mulder spoke up. So then it's this dreamer, or creator, or the story writer who's responsible? Now you're getting it, the doctor replied with a grin. For some reason, I'm now reminded of something my partner Scully explained to me once. She's a scientist dealing in facts, well, most of the time. Schrodinger's cat, Mulder said. Ah, yes, the old cat-in-a-box trick. Poison gas in a capsule. If the capsule's broken but no one witnesses it, is the puss alive or dead? A thought experiment, often described as a paradox, devised by Austrian physicist Erwin Schrödinger in 1935. Similar to the if a tree falls in the forest but there's no one around to hear it, does it make a noise? Conundrum. Quantum physics. Brilliant. Mulder was still lost in his own thoughts. So it wanted me to be inside your ship, he asked. As did you. Curiosity always gets the best of us. But I didn't even know that this TARDIS existed, Mulder piped up, getting confused all over again. Sure you did. Take a look. He did so, and the revelation struck home. It's the blue police box I noticed when I saw you and your lady friend in Oxford. But it's... Mulder hesitated. Time Lord science, the doctor added. It's bigger on the inside. Rose joined them to discover they were now on the deck of the steamliner. So just how big is this void then? If the dreamer can conjure up anything into existence, then anything is possible. Oh, and by the way, we seem to have sunk. All three occupants realised the boat was under the ocean now. Above them they could see outlines of life rafts and hear muffled sounds of the passengers as they were being rowed away to safety. Mulder stared incredulously. So why is the ocean not coming inside the TARDIS? He answered his own question. Protective force field, I guess. The Greys use them on their spaceships and call it a cloaking device. Wow, I've always wanted to be in a submarine. His train of thought drifted even further. I wonder if it's a Grey that's the being who's dreaming all this. Over the years in the X-Files division, spending his life trying to uncover the weird and supernatural splendours, he'd come across the alien Greys who were capable of body and thought transference, among other things. They could easily be capable of running the show. The doctor absorbed Mulder's suggestion. You know, I think in the end it's best to just be and not question who is behind it. Takes all the fun out of existing. Or not, as the case may be. Right, I better get the TARDIS out of this ocean. Allons-y! Hang on, Rose said. Are you now saying we don't exist? Schrodinger's cat, Rose, the doctor reminded her and added, an idea exists in the mind of the author and is brought into being. But was it alive in the first place? And there lies the rub. Oh, my head hurts, Rose moaned. Dennis Scully opened her eyes, a concerned look etched upon her face. Just what on earth had Mulder gotten himself into now? She'd had prophetic dreams connected to her partner before. It was like they had some kind of spiritual link where both either knew what the other was thinking, or sometimes even feeling. Her worst vision had been Mulder being experimented on within an alien craft, a nightmare that had terrified her. Unable to help him, she'd felt so powerless, yet had to endure his painful experience within her own mind. Thankfully, this latest dream didn't involve any kind of suffering. In fact, as the mists cleared, it developed into a sense of clarity, as if she knew answers to many questions. The only problem was she couldn't completely define what those questions were. At least she discovered he was safe, on board some vessel, a strange-looking blue box, and he had company, a tall, energetic man and a young blonde girl. But just where were they going? That was a question she couldn't answer yet. On her bedside table, the phone started to ring. She glanced at her alarm clock, then reached over and picked up the receiver, wondering who could be calling her at such a late hour. Perhaps this was Mulder. He had an annoying habit of doing that on a regular basis. Hello? Am I speaking to a Miss Dana Catherine Scully? A male voice at the other end asked. This is she. I'm calling from Cardiff in Wales. Well, that would explain the reason this person had phoned her at an ungodly hour. He'd obviously forgotten the time zones. She had to admit when he mentioned his location, it had surprised her at first. He had an American accent, so she presumed he was in the United States. Who are you? My name's Captain Jack Harkness. I can't go into major details, but let's just say I work beyond the government for a secret operation known as Torchwood. Basically, there's a rift of space and time over the city, and our job is to stop any threatening alien life from taking over the planet. This just had to be one of Mulder's friends. So why are you telling me this? You work on the X-Files, yes? Yes, and so basically we work under similar circumstances. Okay, Scully was getting a little impatient. And you called because I'm looking for the doctor. I was told you might know of his whereabouts. Doctor who? Exactly. The mists cleared once more. He's with my FBI partner and a young lady travelling in a blue box. She paused for a moment. Why did you think I'd know that? Well, this is going to sound odd, but I had this dream about you. Jack's voice took on a rather seductive tone. Oh, really? Scully replied, unfazed. So did I, about my partner and the box. TARDIS, Jack informed. I suppose it's some kind of spaceship. Yep, I have to get a lock on it. Why? Because the rift has gone nuts. I think it's trying to spew everything out of it from every possible point in time and space. Scully could hear a slight panic in his voice. And this doctor can prevent that from happening? You sound awfully calm, he stated. Been there several times, facing apocalyptic possibilities, she replied. Me too, but this is like the mother of all apocalypses. I fear we'll just get sucked in. Everything will end. Okay, now you've got my attention. Good. Can you get in touch with your partner? Scully frowned. I told you, Mulder is on board this TARDIS. I doubt the cell phone signal can reach that far. With a little adjustment it can, Jack announced. And how do we do that? Scully asked, puzzled. No problem. I'm just going to teleport over to you in Washington, D.C. You're going to what? A second later, Dana was face to face with a tall, dark and handsome stranger. Well, hello. Jack Harkness flashed one of his overpowering smiles. Scully just stood open-mouthed. Just how in God's name did you do that? Wrist teleports, state-of-the-art stuff, he announced proudly. Now, where's your cell phone? Across the far reaches of space-time, the Doctor alerted his companions aboard his vessel. Hang on, kids, this is going to be a bumpy ride. So what's new? Rose said with a hint of sarcasm. Come on, Rose, I thought you loved all this adventure, the Doctor queried, flicking a switch here, a lever there. Oh, I do, don't get me wrong. It's just I could do with less of this tossing and tumbling and shaking, she stressed, hanging onto the console as the TARDIS proceeded to buck like a wild steer. I think it's cool, Mulder added, hanging on beside her. Kind of like one of those roller coaster carnival rides. He glanced at the Doctor opposite him. So where are we going now? Right this moment we are travelling through the time portal. Destination? Search me. Never heard of that planet. Is it habitable? Rose asked, her sarcasm increasing a notch. The Doctor gave her a large beaming smile. Ah yes, lovely place. Green, luxurious, crystal streams, exotic birds. Okay, she replied, sharing the smile. Enough. You two are like a married couple. Kind of like me and Scully, Mulder said, wondering how she was. Truth be known, he was starting to miss having her beside him. Then the Doctor's tone changed and he frowned. If we can't think of a way to stop this, then the void is going to engulf existence as we know it. Well, that's just killed the mood, Rose announced, realising that they were all indeed in a very serious situation. So what can we do, Doctor? All she received was a shrug of his shoulders. She was just about to question what that meant when the sharp rings of a mobile phone sounded out loud and clear. The tune, she realised, were the 5 notes that contacted the alien spaceships from Close Encounters. Cute, she said, and couldn't help but smirk. Well, that certainly isn't Martha trying to call us, the Doctor said, puzzled. A few years ago, he had adjusted her mobile phone, enabling her to contact the TARDIS if she'd needed to. He had done the same for Rose when she'd embarked on her first journey with him to watch the Earth's demise in the far distant future. Well, one of the futures, because now it looked like they were embarking along a completely different timeline.